offers are in the air. They're everywhere. They never really went away. They've always been part and parcel of wrapping up and tightening up a contract. There's some things you got to know if a counteroffer comes in, and or if you're selling a house and you respond to an offer and counteroffer. There's some tactics that we use to make sure that you get the best deal. And part and parcel of that is, let's get this real quick. Right here. There. Part and parcel of it is using it as a tactic or a strategy to make sure that you get what you need when you sell your home, or if you're buying a home. And sometimes when you're buying a home in a seller's market, you don't get anything or everything that you want, like price, terms, when you can move in, repairs, those kinds of things. And that's kind of the build out of a counteroffer, because the way the offer is shaped up, it's price, inspections, contingencies, when the seller is going to move out, meaning when you can move in, and all the associated costs involved. Home warranty, escrow, transfer fees, all these other things are all tied up in an offer. And an agent that's been doing it for 22 years really knows what to look for in the 16-page offer to point it out, so that when we go back to strengthen that offer by saying, well, this is really what we want. If you want this house, this is what you're going to ask. And it could be price, it could be move out, it could be repairs, it could be your title company, it could be a number of things, it could be anything you really want. Now, so the way it works is offer is presented, and if the seller accepts it, then you're in contract, you're in escrow. If it's not everything you want, the seller will counter it and it says, we accept this offer subject to this counteroffer, which then goes into, whatever the terms that they need. I need to move on August 15th, right? And then it has to be very specific, like who's going to pay for the PITI or the monthly mortgage after the close. It's a lot of going back and forth, and sometimes you just have to make sure that everybody's in agreement before you move forward. Now, tactically, what happens if your house is on market, 37 days, and you originally had it priced at 1.89, and now it's down to 1.699, and it's still not coming in, and then you get a lowball offer? What are you going to do? You got one offer. So one in the hand is better than two in the bush. What are you going to do? And I'll present that to you saying, I would just accept it, or maybe tighten up a couple little things, but the price is the price, because at the end of the day, the sellers don't determine the price, the buyers do. And there's a pool of buyers out there, and once they've gone through your house and determined that it's too high for the condition, the location, and the market conditions, the local market conditions, meaning comps, they're passing you on. And if it's on market for 37 days, that means you're overpriced based on those three things. And when you get a lowball offer, that's pretty much one offer saying one buyer is willing to do it. It's your side to decide if that's what you want or not. And yes, you have the right to counter it. Now, when you counter an offer, the buyer can respond one of three ways: yes, no, or let's meet in the middle. That's where negotiation comes in, right? It's always yes, no, and let's meet in the middle, or figure something out, haggle it out. And with that, if it came back, let's say that you start at 1.89 and it went down to 16.9. Sorry, let's just do round numbers. 1.9 down to 1.7, and then you got a 1.6 offer, meaning you're $300,000 away from your original list price. Well, that's what the buyer is willing to pay. And then you say, well, no, I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm not going to walk away from my property for 1.6. I know it's worth 1.8, 1.9, which that's where ego and hubris come together. That's where 99% of the houses that don't sell is because of ego, seller ego. They think their house is worth more than what it really is. And again, sellers don't determine the price, buyers do. When you overprice it, you hurt yourself, because typically what happens is your house sits on market for a long time, then you lower the price, and then one buyer comes in with a lowball offer. And then you get pissed off at your agent because they're not doing their job. You see the problem here? So the best way to make sure that you get everything you want. I need to move out on August 16th. I want this. I want as is sale. I want no repairs. I want, you name it, to list the house low, attract as many buyers, get as many offers as you can, because anything more than 2, you're in the driver's seat. Now you can go back and negotiate back and forth. I have 5 offers in hand. This is my highest best price. This is where we're going. I can go back as a listing agent and negotiate with the other buyers, say, can you match it? Can you beat it? What can you do? And that's how we negotiate how to do it. And I keep looking at, in my head, yesterday I talked about this house that's been on market for 37 days. Original list price is 1.9. It's down to 1.6, and it's still on market. And the problem with that is I have 2 of the same model coming up, and this person's dicking around with price. Ego. My house is worth this much money. And if you remember looking at it, you can go back to it tomorrow and take a look, or you can go back to that video. I'll put that link in today's blog. It was an updated kitchen, but the bathrooms were meh, and it was on a T intersection, and it's just not super desirable. And it's on a busy filter street. It's not an avenue. It's not a major intersection or a major street like Santa Teresa or Curry or what have you, but it's on a busy street. What is that street? Caudle. Brain fart. When you overprice a house, all you're doing is hurting yourself. And you say, well, I can wait for the right buyer to come along. All that is going to do is hurt you, and then you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to get desperate, and then you have desperation breath, and that just hurts the deal. That hurts you ultimately. So if you listen to your agent and get the offer done, you get your price listed low, attract as many buyers. The buyers know. They will look at the CMAs, the comparable market analysis, and say, this house is listed at 1.6, but it's really worth 1.75. I better get it around 1.75 if I want to be competitive. They write an offer for 1.75. If you list at 1.9, thinking, oh, my house is so much better because, and you're ignoring the fact that you're on a busy street and you overpriced it and you haven't updated the carpets or the bathrooms or you name it, well, your house is going to sit, because they're not going to look just at your house. They're going to look at 50 other houses and look at 5 to 10 and make a decision. I'm going to buy that house instead of this one because this one's overpriced. So how do you do this if you have one offer? Well, you got to be careful. I wouldn't really worry about price. I would understand that I made a mistake in forcing my agent to list it high and say that I was willing to wait for the right buyer to come along. You can counter the asking price. You can counter the condition. You can counter the inspections. You can counter repairs. You can counter all these different things. But is it a good idea? Are you willing to walk away from that deal as it's presented if you do one different thing? And buyers know that they have choices now. Even though it's a seller's market, if they're looking at a house that's on market 37 days, they're going to throw in a FU offer and say, hey, take it or leave it. And if you come back with a counter offer, they might walk. And this is the conversation I have with sellers when they overprice their houses. It just is frustrating to see ego and hubris destroy options and opportunities for you to move, to do the thing that you want to do because you think your house is worth more than what buyers are willing to pay for. So our counter offer is a good idea. Yes, if you have 5 or 6 or 7 offers in hand, you're in the driver's seat. But if you only have one offer because you overpriced it, it's on market for 37 days, I would say just take the offer or don't accept it at all and be done with it. But then you're wasting this time of the agent, and that's pretty sad. It's pretty pathetic. So enough of that. This section of this episode is brought to you by the Home Inspection Checklist. If you haven't done so, please download this. The link is in the blog. The link is in the description. Download it and get you started with your honey-do list, and then we'll get started working on your house. Rates are down a little bit from last week, down to 6.88 for a jumbo. And if you're at 30-year VA is 6.17. So there you go. It's coming down a little bit, but it's not at 6 yet. You can get it down. You can absolutely buy it down to 6-ish with points. So something you can do when you talk to your lender. If you don't have a lender, I have 3 great guys that I can send you to. This is what you get for $1 million in San Jose, Santa Clara County. Homegate Drive, $1,050,000. Not my listing, 3-bedroom, 2.5 baths, 1,300 square feet, built in 1984, and it is right by Lake Cunningham Park, off of Ocala and Capitol Expressway. This is a really good area, but it has an HOA, and you know how I feel about HOAs. Let's take a quick look inside. I think this one's going to sell pretty quick. Let's see how long it's been on market. 55 days. This is a pick-me-up. Oh, that's why. Look, original everything. Remember, you overprice stuff and it'll sit 55 days right there. I'm glad that they did the floor plan. Thank you for whoever this listing agent is. Yeah, I'm not happy about the paint, but you know, I can look past paint. Some buyers can't. What I would suggest is your kitchen is original. If you're asking a premium for a house with an original kitchen and bathroom, your house is going to sit, right? It doesn't matter the floor plan, doesn't matter the location. If it's overpriced, it's going to sit 55 days. Where is it? 55 days on market. Let me break this open here for you right here so you can actually see it. So you can see what I'm talking about. What you get for $2 million. This is in our neighborhood. This is brand new. Listed Swiss Drive, not my listing, $2 million. 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,500 square feet, built in 1966. And is on the Santa Teresa High School side, which means that you're going to have noisy weekends, football games, etc. But that's okay. It'll still sell because Swiss Drive is a busy street. But maybe $2 million is too much for this one. But we'll keep an eye on it. There you go. Let's take a look inside real quick. Oh, it's pretty. Nice views of the foothills. I guarantee you won't be getting pictures of the high school in the back, even though that's it right there. See right there, there's a little creek, and then right behind it. And thank you for doing the floor plan. That's very helpful to everybody. I really appreciate that. Existing home sales, we're doing the 12 Bay Area months of inventory chart. And just so you can see where we are, everything seems to be going down in a downward spiral, even though this is, I believe, Napa. Yeah, it's Napa. It's even coming down. So we're right at the tail end of we're in the middle of the selling season. So we're seeing volume pick up, rates are going down, so we're going to see more consumption. Everything here except for San Martin is below the 6-month mark. It's below 4 months, really. San Martin only has 7 homes for sale right now. So it's a small, little, tiny podunk of a town, and maybe there's just some price adjustments that need to happen there. So there you go. All right, 15 minutes. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. I'm Vito with Abitano. We'll see you out there.